Listen to me, little brother. Sit still. Don't interrupt. Don't nod like you already know. You don't. If you did, you wouldn't be confused right now. You wouldn't be pacing with your phone in your hand. You wouldn't be replaying messages in your head like a broken tape. You wouldn't be wondering what you said wrong, what you should have said different, what you should say next. A man who is guessing is a man who has already surrendered ground. And once ground is surrendered, the fight is over before it begins. I'm not here to sugarcoat this for you. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to make you see. Because the streets don't care about your feelings, and neither does power. When a woman keeps you guessing, she isn't confused. She isn't figuring things out. She isn't overwhelmed. She knows exactly what she's doing. Confusion is a tool. Silence is a lever. Uncertainty is a leash. And if you're honest with yourself, you can feel it around your neck already. Let me tell you something they never teach young men. Attraction doesn't grow in chaos. Control does. A woman who wants you doesn't make you unsure where you stand. A woman who respects you doesn't leave you decoding her behavior like it's a puzzle box. Respect is clean. Desire is direct. It doesn't stutter. It doesn't disappear and reappear like a ghost. When the energy is real, it moves forward. When it's manipulation, it circles. Round and round. Keeping you busy. Keeping you reactive. Keeping you guessing. And guessing is weakness. Every time you ask yourself, what does this mean? You've stepped off your frame and into hers. Every time you wait for clarity that never comes, you teach her something about you. You teach her how long you'll tolerate ambiguity. You teach her how much discomfort you'll swallow just to keep access. You teach her that you'll stay even when the rules aren't clear. That's not loyalty. That's availability without authority. And availability without authority is a losing position. I've watched men lose themselves this way. Good men, strong men, men who had their lives together until they let uncertainty into their core. It starts small, a delayed reply, a change in tone, a sudden distance with no explanation. You tell yourself not to overthink it. You tell yourself you're being mature. You tell yourself you don't want to seem insecure. Meanwhile, your nervous system is on fire. You're alert, hyper-focused, waiting, watching, reacting. That's the trap. A calm man doesn't react. A centered man doesn't chase signals. A grounded man doesn't guess. You need to understand something fundamental. Power never explains itself to uncertainty. Power doesn't ask for reassurance. Power doesn't seek clarity from confusion. Power observes, decides, and moves accordingly. The moment you start asking questions that should never need asking, the balance has already shifted. And don't fool yourself into thinking this is about communication. This isn't about talking it out. This is about position. When a woman keeps you guessing, she controls the tempo. She controls when you feel calm and when you feel uneasy. She controls your emotional weather. And any man who lets someone else control his inner state has already given up command. You can't lead from the passenger seat. You can't be respected while you're waiting for permission to relax. Let me be clear. This isn't about hating women. This isn't about being cold or cruel. This is about understanding dynamics the way the streets understand them. Cause and effect. Action and consequence. When someone introduces confusion into your life and watches you struggle inside it, they're learning about you. They're learning how much pressure you can take, how much uncertainty you'll endure, how long you'll stay without clarity. And once they learn that, they adjust accordingly. You think guessing makes you patient. It doesn't. It makes you predictable. Because a man who guesses is a man who hopes. And hope, when it's attached to another person's behavior, is a dangerous thing. Hope keeps you waiting. Hope keeps you invested in potential instead of reality. Hope keeps you quiet when you should be decisive. And decisive men don't guess. They choose. I'm going to tell you something harsh now, so brace yourself. If she keeps you guessing, it's because the guessing benefits her. It gives her control without commitment, attention without accountability, influence without responsibility. And the more you stay in that fog, the more normal it becomes. Until one day, clarity feels foreign to you. Peace feels suspicious. Stability feels boring. And that's how men get trained into chaos. You start confusing intensity with connection. You start confusing unpredictability with passion. You start thinking that love is supposed to feel like anxiety. It's not. That's conditioning. That's your nervous system being hijacked. Real connection doesn't leave you guessing. Real alignment doesn't make you question your worth. Real respect doesn't play hide and seek with your sanity. Listen closely. A man with options doesn't tolerate prolonged ambiguity. Not because he's arrogant, because he's centered. He knows what clarity feels like, and he doesn't bargain with confusion. He doesn't issue ultimatums. He doesn't demand explanations. He simply notices patterns and responds with distance. Calm distance. Silent distance. The kind of distance that speaks louder than arguments ever could. And here's where most men mess up. They think pulling away is a tactic. It's not. It's a consequence. You don't withdraw to get a reaction. You withdraw because the environment no longer aligns with your standards. You don't punish. You don't threaten. You don't announce. You simply stop investing where the terms are unclear. Silence, when used correctly, isn't passive. It's decisive. It says, I don't chase what confuses me. It says, I don't negotiate with uncertainty. It says, if you can't meet me in clarity, you don't get access to me. And that's authority, quiet authority, the kind that doesn't need validation. Understand this too. When you stop guessing, some people will panic because confusion was the currency. And when you stop paying, the market reacts. You might see sudden clarity, sudden affection, sudden explanations. That's not coincidence. That's leverage shifting. But you have to be careful here, because the test doesn't end when clarity appears. It ends when clarity is consistent. A man who learns this lesson too late spends years in emotional limbo, always waiting, always interpreting, always adjusting himself to someone else's unpredictability. He becomes smaller without noticing, quieter, less sure, less grounded, until one day he looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize the man staring back. All because he tolerated guessing for too long. I don't want that for you. That's why I'm talking to you like this. Because nobody talked to me like this when I was younger. I learned it the hard way. Through loss. Through wasted time. Through nights where silence felt louder than any argument. And I'll tell you this with certainty. The moment I stopped guessing was the moment my life stabilized. My relationships got cleaner. My decisions got sharper. My energy returned to me. A woman who belongs in your life will not keep you in suspense. She won't test your nerves for entertainment. She won't dangle clarity like a reward. She'll move with consistency. She'll respect your time. She'll communicate without games. And if she doesn't, you don't argue her into it. You don't reason her into it. You remove yourself from the equation. Because the strongest move a man can make isn't confrontation. It's non-participation. So remember this, little brother. If she keeps you guessing, you're not in a relationship. You're in a psychological loop. And loops are designed to keep you spinning while someone else stays centered. Break the loop. Step out of the fog. Choose clarity, even if it means walking alone for a while. Because solitude with self-respect beats company with confusion every time. And one more thing before you go. If this message hit you in the chest instead of just your ears, that's because part of you already knew it was true. Don't ignore that part. Feed it. Strengthen it. Build on it. If you want more lessons like this, real talk, no fluff, no lies, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay close. We don't guess over here. We move with purpose.